Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk all things Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes what really happened with Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith's bad work relationship. Projected new contracts have been revealed for all Steelers free agents. The Pittsburgh Pirates may never sign a decent free agent again in our lifetime, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. What really happened with Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith's bad work relationship? A few weeks ago, Pittsburgh Steelers beat reporter for the Pat McAfee show, Mark Kaboly, dropped some bombshell news. Kaboly reported that during the Steelers' season-ending 5-game losing streak, there was a toxic work relationship between starting quarterback Russell Wilson and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. When Wilson took over as the starter in Week 7, he and Smith reportedly spent a lot of time together off the field, going over the playbook and other things. Hearing that, many wonder what could have led to the Steelers' end-of-season collapse and that relationship falling apart. But now, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette writer Gerry Dulac tells us what happened. In his most recent story, Dulac said that after the Black and Gold's 44-38 shootout victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 13, Smith did not want Wilson changing the plays at the line of scrimmage. Both men had different desired plans of attack, as Wilson wanted a throw-down-the-field pass-centric offense, while Smith wanted to stick with the usual run-first mentality. Alright, now that we've heard that, let's get one thing straight. I seriously doubt that this was purely a Wilson versus Smith thing. I believe that Artie is just playing the fall guy here because we all know that the leader of the run-first movement is head coach Mike Tomlin. Tomlin, for years now, has been a minimal risk taker who loves his offense looking like it's fresh out of the 1970s. I'm sure Smith, and I'm not letting him off the hook here for his bad season, would have adapted at least a little bit because the Steelers were one of the worst run offenses in the league last year. You know and I know that contrary to what he says, Tomlin wanted to keep doing the same thing over and over again until it worked, but shockingly, it never did. To wrap this whole thing up, I think that most of us can agree that whatever Russ was envisioning the offense being was probably the right thing. We are in an era of football in which solely relying on a ground and pound offense rarely works anymore. At least Wilson had the right idea of involving the pass more, which in turn would have opened up the run more. However, that clash of offensive philosophies can't happen again, and I still believe that Wilson will not and should not return as the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's time to give the keys to Justin Fields as the full-time starter. He's a much better running threat than Wilson for the Steelers' run-first offense, and will only be a small downgrade in the passing game. And hey Mike, please let Fields do his thing as starter next year. Don't handcuff or restrict him in any way. We have to get out of this agonizing cycle that we've been in for the past handful of years, and you do that by letting your dynamic quarterback, for better or worse, be himself. Man, it still hurts that we didn't at least listen to the Bears' trade offer for Tomlin. Projected new contracts have been revealed for all Steelers free agents. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot of decisions regarding player personnel to make this offseason, and what influences those decisions the most are the new contracts that those players want. Well, yesterday, Spotrac, one of the best websites for viewing contract breakdowns, yearly salary, team salary cap, and more, released projected new contracts for every Steelers free agent. Instead of going through the entire list here are some projected new contracts for the Steelers' most important pending free agents. Quarterback Russell Wilson is projected to sign a 2-year, $77.5 million contract. Quarterback Justin Fields is projected to sign a 1-year, $6.4 million contract. Running back Najee Harris is projected to sign a 3-year, $27.5 million contract. Running back Jaylen Warren is projected to sign a 1-year, $7.1 million contract. Wide receiver Mike Williams is projected to sign a 1-year, $4.5 million contract. Wide receiver Van Jefferson is projected to sign a 1-year, $1.8 million contract. Left tackle Dan Moore Jr. is projected to sign a 3-year, $37.7 million contract. Right guard James Daniels is projected to sign a 2-year, $15.1 million contract. Middle linebacker Elandon Roberts is projected to sign a 1-year, $3.2 million contract. Corner Dante Jackson is projected to sign a 2-year, $23.1 million contract. Corner Cam Sutton is projected to sign a 1-year, $2 million contract. And lastly, safety DeMonte Casey is projected to sign a 1-year, $1.5 million contract. Okay, now that the major free agents have been listed, I'm going to separate them into 4 separate groups. Those who should be kept, those who sucked or should leave, those who are too expensive, and those who are getting replaced with younger players. Starting with the keepers, I think it is a no-brain decision to re-sign Justin Fields, Jaylen Warren, and middle linebacker Elandon Roberts. There are some minor free agents who I believe should be re-signed for cheap as well, in third-string quarterback Kyle Allen, tight end Michael Pruitt, wide receiver Ben Skoranek, and center Nate Herbig. Moving on to those who were terrible this past season and shouldn't be touched with a 10-foot pole, I have wide receivers Mike Williams and Van Jefferson, corner Cam Sutton, and safety DeMonte Casey. Another minor free agent who belongs in that category is corner and special teamer James Pierre. Next, onto the too expensive category, you'll find quarterback Russell Wilson, running back Najee Harris, left tackle Dan Moore Jr., and corner Dante Jackson. I considered putting Wilson, Harris, and Moore in the terrible category, but they probably will get paid close to their projected contracts, just hopefully by other teams. I guess they could also go in the next category as well. That next and final section is those getting pushed out by younger talent, in which you'll find right guard James Daniels. I think some other minor free agents who you'll see leave, or at least be fighting with younger talent for their roster spot, are defensive end Isaiah Loudermilk and linebacker/special teamer Tyler Matakevich. What do you think of Spotrac's projected contracts for these free agents? Who would you want and not want to see the Steelers re-sign, and why? Let me know in the comments below. The Pittsburgh Penguins fight hard against the New Jersey Devils, but still can't beat their demons. In their final home game before the Four Nations face-off break, last night the Pittsburgh Penguins hosted the New Jersey Devils at PPG Paints Arena. The Pens were looking to get their third victory in a row against a team that they have beaten just once in their previous 9 matchups. In the first period, the Penguins struggled early and barely kept the Devils off the board. The Pens had some rare offensive zone time thanks to 2 power plays, but the Devils got the game's first goal with 19 seconds left in the period. Jersey carried that momentum into the second and capitalized off the Penguins' inability to stay out of the box to make it 2-0. Then, the home team started to find a bit of a groove, and their hard work paid off with Mr. Team Sweden himself, Rickard Rakell, scoring on a wraparound. The Pens continued to fight into the third, and after matching minor penalties made it 4-on-4, Kevin Hayes buried a net front feed from P.O. Joseph to tie the game. The rest of the period was a stalemate, and the contest went to overtime. There were great chances for both teams in OT, but neither could finish, so then a shootout was needed. Both teams got some stops and some goals, but Penguins killer Timo Meier ended it in the 7th round to win it for New Jersey 3-2. I'll give the Pens a little bit of credit because they fought back and got the game to a shootout against one of the Metropolitan Division's toughest teams. What really gave them problems all night long was stopping New Jersey's top line of Andre Palat, Jack Hughes, and Jesper Bratt. I'm not too upset over this loss, and if the Pens play like that the rest of the season, they will at least be entertaining to watch on their way to hopefully getting the top pick in the draft. The Pens have 2 more games before the 2-week break, both of which are back-to-back against Metro Division rivals. Those road games are Friday against the New York Rangers and Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers. The Pittsburgh Pirates may never sign a decent free agent again in our lifetime. We are now exactly 50 days away from opening day, and the Pittsburgh Pirates still do not have a respectable starting right fielder on their roster. The way things are going, it looks like the Bucs aren't going to add one either, as there is a very limited number of decent free agents left on the market, and another has now been signed. Last night, this from MLB Network insider Mark Feinsand, the Arizona Diamondbacks have re-signed right fielder Randal Grichuk to a 1-year, $5 million contract. In 2024, Grichuk appeared in 106 games for the D-backs, hitting a .291 batting average with 12 home runs, 46 RBIs, and an .875 OPS. All off-season long, fans have been saying that the Pirates should have been in on this player, or, oh, they could have signed that player, but realistically, Grichuk was the most gettable and rational guy out there. Now he's heading back to Arizona for 1 year, $5 million? You're telling me that you couldn't pay a guy with an OPS well above 800, nearly kissing 900, Andrew McCutchen's contract? Did the reported incentives in Grichuk's contract that could kick his pay up to $5.5 million really scare you off, Charrington? I'm sure Nutting is keeping his wallet under lock and key, but you couldn't offer at least $6 or $7 million to have a right-handed platoon guy to pair with Jack Sawinski and right? I guess you're sticking by your life's motto that sometimes you have to be comfortable saying no. This time next week, pitchers and catchers will report to officially kick off spring training, and besides the obligatory Andrew McCutchen 1-year, $5 million deal, the largest free agent contract given out by the Bucs this offseason was what? Caleb Ferguson at 1 year, $3 million? What's even more ridiculous is that the Pirates appear like they're going to go another offseason without signing a free agent to a multi-year deal. The last, are you ready for this, being starting pitcher Ivan Nova nearly 10 years ago in 2016. That right there is all of Ben Cherington's tenure plus the last regime, and is not only a fireable offense for everyone in the Bucs front office, but worthy of fans boycotting the Pirates organization altogether. Bob Nutting is such a cheapskate with his money that Scrooge McDuck said, "Damn." He is the worst owner in professional sports who has made a laughingstock of this once prestigious franchise and will waste the time we have with possibly the greatest pitcher the sport will ever see. For the love of God, Bob, sell the team, and for the rest of you, I know you can't fire yourselves, but please try your very best to stop being jackasses. And finally, non-roster invitees for Pirates training camp are official. Seeing how the Pittsburgh Pirates won't be spending any money this offseason, let alone act like they're trying to compete, they now need their one and only plan of praying for internal development to work. Internal improvements can come from players who had bad 2024 seasons bouncing back, prospects who have or had potential unlocking a new part of their game, and the last one here that we will be talking about today, non-roster spring training invitees being surprises. Yesterday afternoon, the Pirates finalized the following roster of 14 non-roster invitees, some of them prospects and some of them free agent signings, who will be attending their Major League spring training camp. Those 14 are prospect catcher Omar Alfonso, catcher Aaron McKeithen, prospect third baseman Jack Brannigan, prospect shortstop Connor Griffin, prospect second baseman Termar Johnson, prospect center fielder Matt Gorski, right fielder DJ Stewart, prospect right-handed pitcher Bubba Chandler, prospect right-handed pitcher Thomas Harrington, prospect right-handed pitcher Sean Sullivan, right-handed pitcher Ryder Ryan, prospect left-handed pitcher Hunter Barco, prospect left-handed pitcher Anthony Solometo, and left-handed pitcher Ryan Barucki. This list right here is pretty much the only thing that the Pirates kind of did right this offseason. Even though they have little to no chance of making the Major League roster this year, I'm excited to watch top prospects like Griffin, Johnson, Harrington, Barco, and Solometo. On the other hand, a few players to keep an eye on are Barucki and Chandler, who do have a chance to make the Bucs opening day roster with a solid spring training. Hey Cherington, if you are going to add any offensive help this offseason, then you are going to need every single good pitcher that you got. If Chandler can show out like the light version of Paul Skeens that we think he can be, then give him the Jared Jones treatment and put that kid in the Bucs rotation to begin the season. Again, pitchers and catchers will be reporting to Pirate City in Bradenton, Florida for their first workout this time next week, and a few days later, players will arrive. Then we will see who rises to the occasion and who crumbles under the pressure among those 14. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.